Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios in Atlanta, Georgia, it's time for Atlanta Business Radio, spotlighting the city's best businesses and the people who lead them.
Lee Cantor here, another episode of Atlanta Business Radio, and this is going to be a good one. I've got with me today Mike Chapman with Pike Nursery. Welcome.
Hello, how are you? Thank you for having me.
I am doing well, and I'm excited to talk to somebody from Pike. I go by your store all the time, or store, you have stores all over, but I go by one of the stores all the time here in Atlanta, and there's always lots of people out there. People love to garden. Isn't that right?
They certainly do. It's a wonderful pastime.
So now, can you talk a little bit about Pike? The company's been around for a long time, but give the listener an idea of maybe a little bit of the background of Pike and what's happening there now.
Absolutely. We've been in business for over 60 years in the Atlanta market. We are known for our horticultural expertise. We provide gardening without guesswork. We're there to answer all the questions that the experienced gardener or the novice gardener has. All of our associates are friendly. They're willing to help along every step of the way of the gardening process.
And that's something that differentiates you guys from some of the maybe department store nurseries where like it's just another like flowers or gardening stuff's just one of the things they have amongst a million other random things. You get a lot of expertise at Pike, don't you?
You certainly do. You certainly do. We are an employee-owned company. That's unique in itself. I think only about 3% of the companies in our country can say that. So all of our associates are invested in the customer's gardening success because each of them are owners in the stake and have stake in the company through the stock that we earn as working through the process. So that's unique for us as well. We really, really stress and focus on customer service above all else. We know gardening can sometimes be a bit overwhelming for people, especially when they're just starting out. So our associates ask all the right questions to be able to make the suggestions that will help the customer be successful and their gardens thrive. We also work really hard to make it easy. We load everything in your car for you. So really the work doesn't begin until you get home and start your gardening process. So we try to make it easy from that standpoint. All our associates are very knowledgeable, and experience is a value to our customers. Most of our associates have completed a company horticultural training program. Many have gone on to complete a state-level third-party green industry certification process. So we really strive to be the horticultural experts.
And do you have things for the novice, like if somebody who isn't familiar with gardening or planting or growing stuff, are there classes you give to educate the consumer?
We certainly do. We do classes. We do things on Facebook. We do Facebook Live, lunch and learns, things of that nature. We do in-store classes, and then just one-on-one with the customer as they come in the store and they ask an associate question. We'll spend time with that consumer, walk through the store, go through the projects that they have in mind. Give them all the suggestions that they need to make sure that they are successful with that project.
And gardening is one of those hobbies that can really have some actual health benefits. Not only can you kind of grow maybe some of your own herbs or vegetables or fruits, but just the activity of being outside in nature like that, there's health benefits, isn't there?
Absolutely. Lots of research has shown that gardening is very therapeutic. You can burn calories while doing it. Just the action of raking leaves or pulling weeds or pruning hedges, all of those activities burn calories, which is healthy for us. It also helps maybe instill some healthier eating on our families, specifically if you involve the children in selecting the different plants to plant in the garden. Maybe you might change them from being such a picky eater to being a more healthy eater. So that's good as well. The CDC has classified yard work and gardening as moderate exercise. I think you can burn right around 330 calories in an hour just going through the gardening process in general, just the lifting and the pulling that I discussed. It also helps build stronger bones. Sunlight triggers our bodies to produce more vitamin D, which helps with bone density and so forth. It's also calming, so it helps lower blood pressure with people that have high blood pressure and so forth. The National Heart, Lung, and Blood Institute says gardening and yard work for 30 to 45 minutes can help lower blood pressure. So that's a positive there. It also helps you sleep better too. And we all know that we are more productive when we've had a good night's rest. So just the process of gardening helps us sleep better at night.
Now, how did you find Pike? Were you always kind of a gardener?
It started with my grandmother. She got me interested in plants at a very early age. And I went off to college and got a degree in horticulture with an emphasis on landscape design. And then when I started looking for a job, I found Pike Nurseries. I started right out of college. I've been with the company since 1993. And it's just in my blood. I love gardening. I love every aspect of it. And it's a wonderful business to be in.
So now during this difficult time, as people are kind of staying at home more, I would imagine a lot of them are tending to their garden and maybe doing some of these, I guess they might have looked at them as chores before, but now they're kind of therapy for a lot of people nowadays to go out and be in the garden and being out in the yard. Is Pike, is that deemed an essential business? Are you able to still function during this difficult time?
We certainly are. In these, business closures that many cities are mandating right now, they make exceptions for what they consider an essential business. And that does include hardware stores and food cultivation. We qualify as a hardware store since we have tools and other items, like plants and fertilizers and so forth to do gardening, and self-gardening and vegetable gardening. So we qualify as an essential business, and we are able to operate. During these times, we can all be growing a modern day victory garden. In the history of our country, there have been several times that, victory gardens have been planted. I think around 20 million of them have been planted over the years. And these victory gardens actually produced 45-50% of the food that was consumed during those difficult times. So now is our time to plant our own victory gardens, in case we get to a point where we're quarantined and can't get out. We're growing some of our own food. If the grocery stores run low on fruits and vegetables, we'll have them. Or if we're just doing it for the therapeutic process and we can share with our neighbors and friends.
Now, what would you recommend that people put in their victory garden this time of year here in the metro Atlanta area?
Tomatoes here in the South, that's always a go-to. Peppers are easy to grow. Lots of things grow really quickly and easily from seeds. Those would be cucumbers, yellow squash, zucchini squash, watermelon, cantaloupe, beans, and peas. All of those things grow very easily from seed. I would not hesitate to plant seeds if you've never done it. It's a very simple process, very easy to do. And it's an easy thing to do, and they come up very well, and they thrive well. On top of that, you could plant flowers. It doesn't have to just be a vegetable garden. You could plant some marigolds in there for some color. The marigolds actually help keep some of the insects away. You could plant different herbs like basil and thyme, oregano, all the different things that you would want to use in the cooking process. So lots of different things that you can plant right now.
Now, does Pike help? Like, say, like I told you before we got on air, I'm not a gardening person. If my family said, you know what, this is a good idea. I think, we're going to be locked in the house for a month or so. This is a good project as a family we should get into. Can somebody from Pike come out to my yard and kind of say, this area is better than this area. Maybe it should be over here. And this is what we recommend, and kind of give us a game plan? Or is there any help in that regard when it comes to building the first garden?
We can help in several ways. One, the best way or the easiest way is if you want to take some photographs of your landscape area. You want to bring them into the store. We're helping people curbside right now. We can look at those photos. We can give you suggestions and tell you what might be the best area for a vegetable garden. I'll tell you now, one of the most important things for a vegetable garden is that you need 6 hours of sunlight a day. So it needs to be the brightest, most sunny area within your yard to be successful with vegetable gardening. If you needed someone to come out and look at a landscape design and incorporate a vegetable garden, we have landscape designers that are available to come out and do that for you and draw up plans for you, so we could help in that way as well.
Well, talk about the landscaping services. What are the other services you have around landscaping?
We have a pick and plant service. You can come into the store. We can help you select the items that you need. We can then give you a price to have someone come out, deliver that product to your home. They'll bring out the necessary soils and fertilizers that you need. That'll be part of the purchase. All that would be delivered and installed for you. So we have that service. And then again, we can just help you curbside with lots of different ideas and answer questions at the stores too.
So you can make this as do it yourself or do it for you. You have the services that help in whatever would serve the customer.
Absolutely. We can give you a design. You can go out and install it yourself. You can work on it over time if you wanted it to be a long-term project and just focus 1 week or 1 weekend on this particular spot or area within that design. We can also come out and do all the installation for you on everything all in one fell swoop. So lots of different ways we can help you as far as your gardening projects are concerned.
Can you share maybe some success stories that you have helped somebody kind of maybe transform their yard or their garden into something really special?
You know, it's on a case-by-case basis. It can be as simple as someone coming in and they have 2 containers on their front stoop or front porch that they want to put sun garden in for the spring and summer. It's just working through that process with a customer from beginning to end, and then them coming back, a month later and say, "Oh my gosh, you helped me put this together. My pots are prettier this year than they've ever been." And they're so proud of it. They want to show you pictures of it. So it can be that simple, or it can be an entire landscape design that we've helped with, and gone and seen before pictures and after pictures. It's heartwarming to see people come in. They're so excited about what they've grown and how their landscape has evolved, and they want to share it. And they love sharing it with their neighbors. So it's kind of fun on several different levels. Like I said, just as simple as just 2 containers on the front porch, someone being just as proud of those as an entire landscape. It's always fun to help customers learn how to grow things and just see the joy that it brings them.
Now, is this a hobby that requires constant, I got to be out in the garden every day, or are there some gardens that are kind of, if I do the work up front and get everything planted, then I don't really have to tend to it that much. It's kind of tends to itself, or I've chosen the right plants that are going to kind of handle being on their own a little bit.
Gardening can be, it can be an everyday process if that's the level that you want to garden. But many people, they'll plant in the spring and then they'll just do light maintenance, a handful of fertilizer here or there, a couple of little snips here to keep things the right size. So it doesn't have to be that involved as far as the laborious process. So it depends on how much time you want to spend in your landscape. Obviously, if you want to put in something that's very, very low maintenance, we can certainly help with that. We can certainly help with ideas on plants or landscapes that take little to no added water other than rain after they get established. So there are lots of different levels that we can help design landscapes for, depending on how you want to live in your garden and what amount of time you want to spend in your garden. But gardening is not that laborious. It's not a hard process. So it shouldn't be a daunting task by any means. It should be something you enjoy, spending time outside with nature and enjoying the beauty that you've been able to grow.
And that's where having an expert kind of help you because if you're just going, oh, I like that because it's pretty, or I like this because the way it grows or its shape, you might be kind of biting off more than you want to handle. But if you work with somebody, an expert like the people at Pike, then you're able to kind of have them help you get the most out of it, so that it is kind of working along the expectations you have or the amount of time you want to put into it.
Exactly. We work with each customer. We determine what their needs are, what their goals are, and you can pretty quickly tell just from a customer's actions that I'm a once and done kind of person. I just want my pots to be pretty out front, and then I'm not going to do anything else until fall when I'll have to change from the summer annuals to the fall annual. Or you get a feel for a customer and they want to be in their landscape. They want to be in their garden a lot. They want to spend time out there. They want to do more than just the 2 pots at the front. They want to do the bed along the sidewalk. They want to do the mailbox planting. They want to do around their patio in the back. So you get a good feel for the customer, and we're able to steer each customer based on what their needs are. Now,
I've always liked, not necessarily like the fruits or the vegetables, but like having kind of wildlife. Is there gardens that can attract maybe butterflies or hummingbirds or things like that?
Absolutely. Butterfly gardens are very popular. They're very pretty. They're butterfly bushes that attract the butterflies. There's a plant called lantana that will bloom almost all spring and summer, that the butterflies just love, and it's bright and cheerful. So lots of, butterfly gardens are planted. A lot of people want to attract birds to their landscapes. So we can do a hummingbird garden. We can just, give you plants that would provide shelter for birds in the winter. There are several plants that the birds like to eat. There's one called pyracantha that they love the berries on. They love the berries in the fall from the Elaeagnus plant. So lots of different, gardens that we can plant for birds. Specific birds would be hummingbirds. And then again, the butterfly gardens are always popular. Another popular thing now are just pollinator gardens. And those are to support the honeybees that are in our landscapes. So lots of different blooming plants, are beneficial for them. So lots of different gardens that we can plant that would attract wildlife to the gardens. And obviously we have a great line of bird seed that we can feed the birds that do come into our gardens. We have nice hummingbird feeders, things of that nature to attract the hummingbirds too.
Well, it sounds like you have something for everybody and you're still up and running and in business. That's good news for all the gardeners out there. If somebody wants to find the store closest to them, what is the website?
You can go to www.pikenursery.com. That'll give you a listing of all of our locations. Obviously, we are open. We are doing business a bit differently than we have in the past. We are not currently allowing customers inside the store. We are helping customers on our website at pikenursery.com. There's an online request form that you can fill out and give us specifics that you want to order. We'll pull those together. We'll call you. We'll take payment over the phone. We'll have it ready. You pick it up at curbside at your leisure. We can set up deliveries as well and have it delivered straight to your door. You guys stay home and we'll bring it to you. Or you can come to each store and just walk up. We have a space set up in the front of every store that has some plant material that you can see. We'll help you there at that particular point at the front of the store. We have associates that will go into the store and bring out items that you've asked for, show those to you, ring it up, load it into your car, and you go home and get back to gardening. So several different ways we can help. Online, you can also call the stores and place phone orders. But I think with gardening, it's that impulse purchase. I think people like to be out. I think they like to see the plant material. So curbside is always a wonderful idea as well. So just visit the store that's closest to you to come in and get all your gardening needs.
Good stuff. Well, thank you so much, Mike, for sharing your story today and telling us what's going on at Pike Nursery.
I very much appreciate your time. Thank you for having me.
All right. This is Lee Cantor. We will see you all next time on Atlanta Business Radio.